guys, so start with let us define what is traits. Actually, when we talk about traits, ito ay tumutukoy sa mga katangian. So yung trait is an observable or an inherited characteristic of an organism, which is usually pinapamana from parents and it's determined by genes. So these traits explain why are people similar but not necessarily identical or completely aligned. So these traits make you unique and one of a kind. Yung mga katangian na mamana is also known inherited traits, kung bakit meron magkakamukha sa buong pamilya at meron namang hindi. Now you can clearly see from our example as how which traits are distributed or being inherited from one generation to the next. You can clearly see the color of the eye, the color of the hair from their grandparents down to their grandchildren. What makes this baby human? And what do you think what determines its gender? Do I have any idea? In all living things, their characteristics o yung katangian ay pinapasa sa pamamagitan ng chromosome na namana from their parents. Lahat ng human characteristic kabilang ninyong gender must be something to do with chromosome. Do you have any idea kung saan matatagpuan ang chromosome? Made of. Baka nagtataka ka kung saan ba gawa ang katawan ng tao. So we're going to find out how rare is genetic information carried in the body. So let's start. We already know that the body is made up of different organs, and from this organ, these are made up of tissue. Skin is one of the many different types of tissues in the body. So we can still remember what are tissue made of. Tissues are made of cells. These cells are building blocks of tissues. Different tissues are made of different cells that carry out different roles, where is genetic information found in most cells. The genetic material are located in the nucleus. The nucleus is the control center of a cell. Each nucleus contains long strands of genetic information. Can you still remember what are strands called? Strands is called chromosome. Chromosome now carry genetic information located in the nuclei of cells. In most cells, chromosomes are matched in pair. And how do genes relate chromosome? Gene is a separate section of a chromosome and controls a separate characteristic. There are hundreds of genes on each chromosome. What do you think are genes and chromosomes made of? So what are chromosomes? Chromosomes are long strands of genetic information which is located in the nuclei of cells. Based on your previous lesson, we all know when we talk about the nucleus, it is a control center of the cell. Chromosomes are most visible or mas madaling makita during cell division and when they replicate and look like this one. So here's a picture of a diagram of a chromosome. Look at the structure of a chromosome. Tingnan natin kung ano yung mga basic part ng isang chromosome. So first of the two, identical chromatids. So ito din ay tinatawag na sister chromatid. So ito yung dalawang to. This one is a exact copy of the other and each contain one DNA molecule. Kaya siya tinatawag na sister chromatid kasi magkapareha sila. Yung mahabang part or arm ng chromosome ay tinatawag na Q-arm. And yung maikli naman, ito naman yung tinatawag na P-arm. Kung saan nagme-meet itong dalawang sister chromatid na ito ay tinatawag na centromere. Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng homologous chromosome? So pag sinabing homologous chromosome, these are chromosomes that match in pairs based on their size and shape. Matching pairs of chromosome are called homologous chromosome. And where do homologous come from? Each pair of homologous chromosome contains one chromosome that has been inherited from each parent. Sa kabuuan, ang human body ay binubuo ng 46 chromosomes. So how many pairs of homologous chromosome are there in human cell? So there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. You inherit half your chromosome from your mother and half from your father. How many chromosomes do you inherit from each other? Total of 23 unpaired chromosomes. So let's proceed with genes. What are genes? Pag sinabing genes, it is a short length of DNA on a chromosome which is a unit determining an inherited character. Yung genes ay binubuo ng chemical substance called deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA. Homologous chromosome. Member of homologous chromosome carry the same genes, controlling the same character in the same location. But the genes on the member of homologous chromosome may be of different forms effect. Phenotype and genotype. The overall appearance of an organism depends on two things. Number one, its genes or inherited characteristics, and the other one is the effects of the environment in which it lives. All the observable characteristics of an organism are called its phenotype. The full set of genes of an organism is called its genotype. An organism phenotype therefore depends on its genotype plus environmental effects. Different version of genes. Chromosome in a homologous pair contain the same type of genes that code for the same characteristics such as eye color. Each chromosome in the pair, however, may have a different version of a gene. For example, the version of a gene on one chromosome may code for brown eyes, whereas the version of the gene on the other chromosome may code for blue eyes. Each different version of a gene is called an allele. What is homozygous alleles? If the alleles for a characteristic in a homologous pair are the same, the organism is said to be homozygous for that characteristic. What is heterozygous alleles? If the alleles for a characteristic in the homologous pair different, the organism is said heterozygous for that characteristic. Dominant or recessive. The phenotype for a particular characteristic depends on which allele is dominant and which allele is recessive. Dominant alleles are always expressed in a self-phenotype. Only one copy of a dominant allele needs to be inherited in order for it to be expressed. Dominant alleles are represented by an uppercase. Recessive alleles are only expressed in a self-phenotype if there is no dominant allele present. If a dominant allele is present, the effect of the recessive allele is masked. Recessive alleles are represented by a lowercase of letter.